FTDI card with extra features. Okay, I can already hear you saying, does the world need another FTDI card? And yeah, I really do think it does need another FTDI card. If there was a good one out there, I would have used it. In fact, I've used a lot of them and don't really like a lot of things about them. This card seeks to fix at least the most egregious things about FTDI cards that are out there. What does it have? Well, it has the standard FTDI 6-pin connector, the header on the left there, right angle header, that has RTS, CTS, transmit, receive, and power and ground. It's got the more or less standard jumper for selecting the levels on those lines at 3.3 volts or 5 volts. And that's kind of where the similarities end. One of the big features this card has is 4 solid mounting holes. You want to put your FTDI inside of your own enclosure, punch a hole in the side and screw it down, and it will be supported by the screws, not by the connector. Much less likely to break your connector off. And for the connector, we're using the old school USB connector, the USB-B connector, that big old connector with the big fat cables that go into it that never fail and never break the connector off the card. And they're through hole, they have mounting into the card itself. We've got the usual transmit and receive lights pointed out the side, so if you want to poke holes in the side of your enclosure and make those lines go out, you got that. But I think the biggest feature this card has is the 5 volt connector. It's got a little 2 by 6 0.1 inch pitch header, right angle there, just sitting ready to plug your cables in for powering up stuff that runs off 5 volts. Sometimes you want your FTDI at 3.3 volts, but you need 5 volts maybe to power an FPGA card or something like that. Well, that 6-pin header gives you exactly that. You can power all your stuff off there up to whatever the USB limit is, maybe half an amp or an amp, depending upon how things are set up, and power them directly off this FTDI card. It really is an FTDI card with a lot of extras. Perhaps best of all, or one of the best of all, if that all wasn't enough, is that we have genuine FTDI parts. We use them. We don't buy the parts, cheap junk parts that are fake. They are real, and that's quite a bit different than ones you'll find other places. Yeah, they're cheaper, but you get what you pay for. Here's the FTDI card mounted below an FPGA card. This happens to run Grant Searle's Multicomp, and that does have connections for serial that go out, and you can hook them right up to the FTDI card. It's got that big old USB connector, the one that you never go wrong with, the one that just always works. And yeah, you probably got some cables hanging around. I bought a few more just to make sure I'd have more, but it's what I'm coming to use for everything. I've just had so many problems with micro USBs, mini USBs, all the other ones. And I can't even begin to imagine how you solder a USB-C down on a card. Too many of those connectors have popped off over the years for me. And this card can cable out to power the top card. I don't have it hooked up in this particular picture, but it certainly can. And it runs at 3.3 volts because that's what the FPGA runs at. So it's a great little application for it. We have a board for a carrier board to mount it on there that physically mounts it below the multi-comp cards. So if you're doing multi-comp and you've got one of our FPGA cards, we've got 4 different FPGA cards for that. You can buy the carrier card and bolt it on there, and you got a pretty little stack up that does the job. Definitely a clean way to go. If you want more information, you can see our wiki pages for these products, and we have YouTube videos on them as well. We have a store in Tindy where we sell all of our cards. Thanks for watching our video, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.